ब्रज जन रंजना जय जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jyom Vishpad Paramahansa Parivijakacharya Shrothyato His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, PPT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter number 8, entitled The Character of Bharata Mahārāja, text number 15. It's a prose verse, and I will just go through with it, and then we will take word-to-word meaning. anyadā bhṛśam udvigna-manā naṣṭa-draviṇa evānuśocan sakaruṇam ati-tarṣeṇa harinakunaka virha vihvala hridaya santapas tam evānuśocan kila kaśmalaṁ mahad abhirambhita iti hovāca. Word to word meaning: anyadā, sometimes, not seeing the calf. bhṛśam, very much. udvigna-manā, his mind full of anxiety. naṣṭa-draviṇa, who has lost his riches. Eva, like. kṛpaṇaḥ, a miserly man. sakaruṇam, piteously. ati-tarṣeṇa, with great anxiety. harinakunaka, from the calf of the deer. Viraha, by separation. Vihivala, agitated. Hridaya, in mind or heart. Santapaha, whose affliction. Tam, that calf. Eva, only. Evānuśocan, continuously thinking of. Kila, certainly. kaśmalaṁ, illusion. Mahad, very great. abhirambhita, obtained. Iti, thus. Ha, certainly. hovāca, said. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: if Bharata Mahārāja sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. He would become like a miser who having obtained some riches had lost them and had then become very unhappy. When the deer was gone, he would be filled with anxiety and would lament due to separation. Thus he would become illusioned and speak as follows. Purport: if a poor man loses some money or gold, he at once becomes very agitated. Similarly, the mind of Maharaj Bharata would become agitated when he did not see the deer. This is an example of how our attachment can be transferred. If our attachment is transferred to the Lord's service, we progress. Srila Rupa Goswami prayed to the Lord that he would be as naturally attracted to the Lord's service as young men and young women are naturally attracted to each other. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited such attachment to the Lord when he jumped into the ocean or cried at night in separation. However, if our attachment is diverted to material things instead of to the Lord, we will fall down from the spiritual platform. Om ajnānatimirandasya jnānanjanāśhalakaya chakshu anmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupam kadamayam dadati swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरंगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्चाते देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are hearing the pastime of Maharaj Bharata with couple of chapters here, and this chapter is particularly talking about how Bharata Mahārāja, he was on a very exalted position on a bhava platform, just due to slightly leniency in his devotional service. He became attached to an insignificant deer and start serving him, which not really meant to do it. It was not his service, but somehow or other become compassionate. He was a devotee, as we know. His father, his grandfather, they were such an exalted devotee, and they have set an example. And Bharata Mahārāja, he ruled this whole world for 10 million times, 10 million years, which was really unimpossible for other living entity to rule under the guidance of Vedic scriptures. But being as a devotee of the Lord, he perfectly became a good son, and on the order of his father, he became a good king, which he ruled. And all the citizens in his kingdom, they were so happy. And when there was a time when he started growing up, getting old, so following the scriptures, getting into the vanaprastha, taking the blessing of his spiritual masters and other Vaishnavas, he entered. And we have read in few chapters or few verses back, he was so perfectly meditating every day on the lotus feet of Lord Shri Hari that tears were flowing from his eyes. And that tears was that much that he could not see the vision very clearly. It was blur because so much tear was there from his devotion. That much he was pleasing. No doubt in the household life, devotees are attached. Attachment is not a wrong thing, because we got this material body, even though attachment is there in spiritual world also. Anger is there in spiritual world also. Some envy is there in spiritual world also. But it has got a reflection in material world upside down. They use all those anger, envy, everything just to serve the Lord, to increase their spirituality. The value of their spirituality, they do increases. Here Bharata Mahārāja, he was just setting such a good example. But suddenly, seeing a doe giving a birth to a baby deer, he became affectionate. And if you read a few verses back, that he was so much attached, so much in that sense, that he was not allowing this doe, baby doe, to be on the floor. He was just putting on his lap always. When he was going to sleep, he put the baby deer on his chest. One time he just gave up all his wealth, all his kingdom, all his wife, children, all the paraphernalia, whatever he has, all the opulences. And now just with the own small significant thing, he just became attached. But can we say that Bharata Mahārāja is so fallen? No, not at all. Because he's a devotee of the Lord, and Lord Krishna chooses his pure devotee to set an example for the future coming generation, for the future devotees. Don't be loose in your devotional service at all, at any means. You have to be strict or very conscious all the time. Doesn't matter if you are on your sannyasa ashram. That's what also mentioned here. Don't think if somebody has taken a sannyasa and he has achieved all the liberation, everything, all the perfection. No, you have to be conscious all the time. Why? Because we are in this material world. That is the trick of the Maya. That's what Maya does it to us. They make us think, you have achieved so much, nothing's achieved to us. If you see our Bharata Mahārāja's father, Rishabdev, he exactly set the same good example, being a good son, good king, and then became a very good devotee of the Lord, even though he was Lord himself. He was practicing, one sense, on Avadhuta platform. I just heard one lecture of Gaurang Prabhu. He was mentioning on this particular point, because we will see furthermore after a few chapters how Bharata Mahārāja became a deer, and deer after that he takes the body of a human where he plays the role of Jadabharta. And Jadabharta also practiced this Jada yoga. He also become Avadhuta. Avadhuta, where we see the understanding is where we don't follow the rules and regulations. And Gaurang Prabhu says, rules and regulation, Avadhuta, if we have to become Avadhuta in your clothing, in your dressing sense, but not in your vows. Be strict in your vows. Avadhuta, if you have to become in your dressing sense, which is okay, you're wearing shirt, front side or back side, wearing pant, upside down, don't care. But not in your spiritual practice. Spiritual practice, you have to be strict, you have to follow the instructions. That's how the mind tricks. Arjuna says in the same thing in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, 6.34, Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna, pramameti balavadidham, tassaham nigraham mayo, vayur eva sadushkaram. Krishna, I am so powerful that I am able to control the direction of the wind, but it's very difficult for me to control my mind. It's very difficult. Then Krishna answers, Asamshayam, it's undoubtedly, it's very difficult to control the mind, but it is possible, abhyasam and vairagyam. And this abhyasam and vairagyam has to be done under the direction of the Vaishnavas, of the spiritual devote, of our spiritual master, of senior Vaishnava, under the association. One of the reasons Acharya says of falling down Bharata Mahārāja, because he was lacking of the association. If you see throughout the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, all the case study where Kunti Devi, the Pandavas, Bhishma Dev, now this Bharata Mahārāja, and there are going to be many more coming, those who are suffering. Many people say, what kind of devotee are they? What kind of Lord your Krishna is, that he is allowing his devotee to suffer like anything. The way Pandavas has gone through all the troublesome, Kunti Devi has gone through, Bhishma is there, and now Bharata Mahārāja is there. No. Lord chooses his best devotee, his pure devotee, to set an example for the future coming people, that bhakti has to be done in all the circumstances with carefully. He does not choose any Tom, Dick and Harry to set an example in the society, because they will cry, they will leave, and they will curse the Lord back. And these devotees, they are so dear to the Lord, and they are playing the part in Lord's pastime. If this pastime wouldn't happen, how are we gonna hear or understand that we have to be strict, we have to be very, very conscious in our spiritual life? And we will not even discuss today, or it will not be there for the future coming devotees. That's why these pastimes are been in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and these characters such as Bharata Mahārāja, Rishabdev, and many others are there. We all are responsible for our own spiritual journey, nobody else. Srila Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example, flying your own plane. When we are on the ground level, when we are on the training, the teacher is there, colleagues are there to help us out. Teacher sits with us in the, in the airplane compartment where he tells you this is steering, this is holder, this is the function of this button, that's what you have to do when there is a troublesome. So he goes along with your training period. He trains you very well. And sometimes you don't understand the words of your teacher, you take the guidance from the colleagues. And colleagues help you. Yes, we are going to do this is the assignment there. So they make you perfect. If you are a good devotee, if you are a sincere student of your teacher, you grab all those knowledge. Why? Because at some point in your life, you are going to be alone, sooner or later. So these instruction will protect us when we are alone. So when a devotee is when a person is on the ground, when he's learning how to fly the plane, and some point when he's in the air, and there is some troublesome comes, so no doubt he can take some guidance here and there, but still he will be left alone. So he has to fly his own plane. If he has not grabbed the instruction of his teacher carefully when he was on a training period, he will die. He will take his plane somewhere else. He doesn't know where to fly, how to follow the navigator while flying. So he will go somewhere else. His goal is somewhere else, but he will end up somewhere else. So that's where our spiritual life is also. When we are in the training process, we are among the devotees, we learn, we take the guidance from the scriptures, by Srila Prabhupada, by the other Vaishnavas, other Acharyas, take a practical learning, practical application. The devotees who has gone through with this path, they teaches us step by steps. And everything has to be done under the guidance of some supervision. There must be some supervision. Bharata Mahārāja, he was drifting away from his spiritual purpose, from his real dharma, So there was no one there to check him out, to tell him, no Baba, you are going somewhere else. You are going somewhere else. There was no one there to check him out. But with us, we are so fortunate that we have got some seniors in our life. So time to time, they just check us. If we are doing some mistakes, they take us on the side and they just make us aware, whatever you have done, it should not be done like that. It should be done like that. No doubt that this teaching has been done some other yugas, some Sati Yuga, and is coming from through disciplic succession, and some other things are there. But people get confused how to follow all this instruction, which acharya we should follow. The time, place and circumstances, acharyas, they do adjust these instructions, these rules and regulation. So the answer is we have to follow the current acharyas. There was a process in Vedic time that every householder, those who are there in their household life, they must have to leave their household duties and go to vanaprastha, go to forest with their wife and others, and leave the other duties with their grown-up children. But that is not possible in today's life. We cannot go to the forest and just practice all those things. That's why Srila Prabhupada has recommended, there is no point to go to the forest. Be in the city and preach over there, because our mission is to preach, to educate people with Krishna consciousness. That is our real mission. He says, please, because the unfortunate souls, they are residing in the city. They are not residing in the forest. They are residing in the city. That's where this important task has been given. No doubt, we are in the material world. We have attached to some extent, attached to our family members, attached to our assets, properties, businesses. It is there. Some role we are taking up, being as a father, a mother, son, daughter, grandchildren, something has to be done, which is okay. But it here, in Bharata Mahārāja, in particular was, he's been overly attached. He has a heart of a devotee, being compassionate. He saw how being afraid from the lion mother deer, she just dropped the baby in the water, and baby can't even just walk, and he start caring of it. And it's also said that he started walking with the deer, eating with the deer, sleeping with the deer, bathing with the deer. That extent he went for. That is the greatest illusion. In this verse, a word has been quoted as kaśmalaṁ. Kaśmalaṁ means illusion. And this same kaśmalaṁ word has come in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 2. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kutastva Kaśmalaṁ idam Vishme Sampusthitam Anarya Justam Ashvargayam Akriti Akaram Arjuna. So here in this chapter number 2, text number 2, kaśmalaṁ, here Prabhupada has written dirtiness, garbage, impurities. That kaśmalaṁ Prabhupada has written. And because after hearing after hearing Arjuna, Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, I thought you are a sadhu. How have come these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. He was surprised. Arjuna, I thought you are a sadhu. You know the value of the life. You know the value of the life. And is it not that Bharata Mahārāja also know the value of the life? That's why he took the vanaprastha. He was completely on the bhava platform. He was also got illusion. Arjuna also got illusion seeing his kinsman in front of him, ready to fight for the wealth, for the properties. He was so scared. How can I kill them? He was totally illusioned. And here also, Bharata Mahārāja is also became kaśmalaṁ. He was also illusioned, madman. When a person is illusioned, how a person acts? He acts like a madman. And we will see in the further verses, when we're going to hear from the next speaker, they will come and they will speak about how he's acting like that. Completely a madman, which makes no sense at all. And that attachment, overly attachment, has spoiled, has ruined his spiritual life completely. So how do we get the attachment? How do we divert? That's why Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that we have to channelize, we have to divert our attachment from material things to the spiritual thing. The object must be Lord Krishna, to his service, to his chanting, by spending time with his devotees. Have a look here. The Rupa Goswami, he's telling here, pray to the Lord that he would be as naturally attracted to the Lord's service as young man and young women are naturally attracted to each other. That's a very natural attraction. I'm pretty much sure all of us have, when we were in 15, 16, we were growing up in teenagers' life, and we were in +1 and +2. More or less everyone has their crush here and there. Not one or two, many. Every hour our crushes changes. Okay, like this girl, like this boy, like this girl, like this boy, and it's natural. Even someone is going on a scooty, oh yeah, that's good. Someone is going on a motorcycle, oh yes, this one is good. So more or less, it's natural at times, and no one tells us to be attracted with this opposite. And the same thing in the same mood, not in a very mundane lust, but taking that example, Srila Rupa Goswami is telling us, Lord, make my heart in such a way that no one tells me, no one encourages me to do that thing, and I be naturally attracted towards you like a magnet. See one magnet, another iron automatically attracts. Please make my heart, make my consciousness in such a way so it automatically be attracted towards you. And seeing the situation of the Kali Yuga people, Lord Shri Krishna, he incarnated, he himself came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Panchatattva-makham Krishnam Bhakta-rupa-swarupakam Bhakta-avataram Bhakta-akhyam Namami Bhakti-shaktikam. He incarnated himself in 5 forms here. As a devotee, as an incarnation, as an expansion, as a pure devotee, and devotional energy. He knows that devotees, peoples have forgotten whom to attach, how to do devotional service, what are the perfect way. And Prabhupada writes, he's just taking this example from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela, chapter 18. The title says, Rescuing the Lord from the Sea. Srila Prabhupada is giving example here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited such attachment to the Lord when he jumped into the ocean, or in the night he cried. We see that pastime when he was in his last 18 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent in Jagannath Puri. Every night, every day, and especially in the night, he was taking the devotee and he was completely acting like a madman. Walking on the street, garden to garden, jumping, singing, crying, becoming unconscious here and there. Whole day he was just chanting and Hare Krishna mantra, doing Harinam Sankirtan whole day and night with his devotees. Sometimes he jumps so high, sometimes his limbs melted that becomes so long, it's hard to merge them. Tears flows, that becomes a water lake, a pond, that much tears comes from his eyes. And he speaks something else, people understand something else. They think it's mad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mad. Here, one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is a very beautiful pastime here, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in one night, when he was with his devotees, everyone walking along the seashore near the Etota temple. It's near Gundicha, this temple is there. And suddenly when he was walking on the beach side and everybody was just dancing and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his ecstasy, suddenly without seeing everybody, he just disappeared. Nobody noticed and people just start walking other devotees, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was the autumn season and the moon was so bright, so bright, so bright, and it was reflecting on the sea there near the ocean, that it makes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu think that's a river, this ocean is a river Yamuna. He had the glimpse of river Yamuna by seeing the reflection of the sun in the sea, that he thought it's river Yamuna. And he went to the ecstasy and he started remembering the pastime of Lord Krishna. He's playing in the water with the gopis with Srimati Radharani. Just to have that taste, have that, the feeling of that pastime, he just jumped into that. And he was just jumped, he was just sometime on the waves, under the waves, floating like a wood here and there, and whole night he was just floating in the ocean like a wood. And that time, sea waves, they carried him away near the Konaka temple, which is northeast from Jagannath Puri. It's 35 kilometers away from northeast side. And this temple is specially for a sun god. And they found, and later on, after some time, the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they found, where did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu go? They were so upset with each other that why you didn't look after Chaitanya, because whenever he jumps and he comes on the floor, he breaks his limbs, it looks like. So they catch Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so make sure he will not hurt his head, not break his bones or everything. And now he just suddenly disappeared. And whole night they were searching, they are asking many people, have you seen Mahaprabhu? Have you seen Mahaprabhu? And no one has seen. And somehow there, while walking, looking after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they went to the beach near Konka, and they saw this fisherman. And this is the job, this is their prescribed duty of the fisherman. They early morning, they go and catch the fishes for their living. And this fisherman was in his boat, and he just threw the net in the ocean to catch some fishes, and he caught something. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstasy, he melted in such a way that if someone touches his body, doesn't feel whether the bone is there or not. In ecstasy, that much he just melted. And when he took this thing out, and the fisherman was thinking whether it's a fish or what it is, what type of creature it is. And he went closer, took the net out of the water, and he just going to touch the Lord. As soon as he touched, this fisherman also gone. He also got the love of Godhead, completely gone mad, start dancing, chanting, tears flowing and everything, exactly only by touching the Lord itself. He gone crazy. He can't do his duty. He can't think. And he was thinking, I've got my family, my children, my kids. How I'm going to look after, how I'm going to do my duty, going to bring the money to home. I cannot do anything. And while he was carrying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his net on his shoulder, and he was walking along the beach, and suddenly, and this fisherman was thinking, I might have haunted with some ghost. You know, tears are coming, I am dancing, I am chanting, I don't know what is happening to me. He said, now I must have to go and see a ghost charmer. He was looking for that and he was going it. And on the way when he was dancing, then this group of devotees, which they were in the night looking for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they walked, and Swarup Damodar, he saw from the far distance, oh my God, if this person is acting like a mad, he must have met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they went quickly. He says, what happened, what happened? I said, I'm not able to tell you. Please first cure me. I've got a disease. I've been haunted by some ghost. Please cure me. And Swarup Damodara, we know who is he. He can immediately know this is a symptom of love of Godhead. He said, I know what has happened to you. I've got a solution. I've got a medicine. He said, please, please cure me. And Swarup Damodar, he gave a nice big tight slap on this fisherman's cheek and chanted, Hare Krishna. And this fisherman came into the consciousness. My God, thank you so much for bringing me back into the consciousness. Then he explained what has happened. He said, I got something and I touched and I went into ecstasy, can't do anything. He said, where is that thing, that creature? And he showed, it is over there. Okay, no problem. So he saw the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his ecstasy. He was telling something like a madman, something about the pastime of Vrindavan, about gopis, about Radharani. And they all chanted Hare Krishna in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came into ecstasy. I says, what happened to me? How come I am here? Who brought me here? And they narrated the whole story. So this symptoms of madness which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown, that is bona fide. That's what the pure devotees of the Lord hankers to be like that. They want to become mad, but into that way. Not this way which Bharata Mahārāja is showing here and the whole world shows. Asakti, attachment, same thing. Lord himself is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, the knowledge of the Absolute. The first verse itself, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Maya Saktena Mana Partha, Yogam Yunjam Madashraya, Asamshyam Samagaram Mam Yad Jigchasi Tashunu, Maya Asaktena. He's telling Arjuna, put your asakti into me, full conscious of me, put your mind, attachment. If the mind is not controlled, our attachment divert from spiritual to material, and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One day we are attached to the Lord, His activity, to His devotee. Other moment, next day we are not. That's our mind flickers. Arjuna is claiming, is very, very dhram, stubborn, very stubborn. It takes you away from other side. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskaru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Put your mind upon me. Think about me. Pay obeisances to me. And everything. That is the solution Lord is saying, devotees are saying, and everybody is saying here. In one of the beautiful purport, one Srila Prabhupada has written, it's in Canto 1, Chapter 6, verse number 21, Srila Prabhupada has written, one must be completely freed from all material attachment and be situated on the plane of transcendence, which alone will help the devotees get in personal touch with the personality of Godhead. The best method is that one should live at a place where the transcendental form of the Lord is worshipped. The recommendation is not there to go to the forest. Recommendation is there where the Lord has been worshipped. Engage yourself in such a way that your mind will not divert. Because Maya needs just a slight pin-side hole to come into. Yesterday, Prabhupada was explaining very beautifully this point here. There's just need a tinge of hole to enter into your life, and she enters in such a way that you don't even feel it, that she has entered. And she does not attacks you immediately, just blast the bomb on your head. She captures you slowly, fully covered, and then you are finished. And there is no way for you to get out of that clutch. And one more example, Srila Prabhupada, is how can we control this mind here? He's saying the way a hunter, when he captures his hunt in the net, he does not trust at all. If he does trust and give a little bit of looseness to this animal, the animal will just find a little bit of space and he just runs away. So we have to immediately control our mind in such a way. And Lord himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks, how long or how far do I have to control my mind? Lord is saying, till the last breath of your life. That means always. Not just, I have been here for many years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, counting, ticking of the numbers in the checklist, in the book, and thinking we are growing. No. It is just all illusion, thinking in such a way. It is only possible only with the association of the devotees, because they create an aura, a security aura to all of us, that it protects us. There are so many obstacles has come on our spiritual life, but under the protection of the senior devotees, we have been protected all the times. Otherwise, we have seen when we go to India or our own native countries or cities, we have seen if we are in the dham around the devotees, it's so simple. We think, oh, we are out of temple, we are okay, we are safe. But suddenly we go and see our relatives and our family members, those who are not devotee. Oh my God! You determine when you leave the country that yes, when I'm going to India, I will keep up my routine. Early morning, I will wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and I will chant my rhyme before 7 o'clock and I'll do this and that and eating prasadam, this and that. And suddenly, and it lasts hardly 1 or 2 days. Many family members comes and see you. They have got so many exceptions. And no doubt, you wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, take up your chanting beat. But that hands comes out only in the night. It's so hard in the 16 rounds finishing throughout the whole day. Somebody comes, something says something else, and it goes on and on and on and on. It so becomes difficult. And in the bhakti, here, Prabhupada has given, actually I was just studying this Canto 3, and I found this beautiful thing here in chapter 4, text number 5. Prabhupada is writing, this crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. Gaur Govind Maharaj, he's got a very beautiful lecture. Cry like a baby for a mother. The way a baby cries for a mother, that cry we have to have for the Lord. If you give baby, at certain point we can play with the baby here. He'll be happy with some pen, some toy, some phone, some gadget here and there. But at one point, doesn't matter how expensive or what you give to the baby, he will be only happy when he goes into the lap of his mother. That cry, that intense cry for the Lord, that's for Srila Prabhupada, that is the last stage. If that comes out, that means you have purchased Krishna. With that tears, Krishna is been sold out. Not been sold out with your wealth and other things here. So taking the instruction from today's verse, that we have to be very, very careful, be mindful all the times to protect our bhakti, by any means, because after so billions and billions of lifetime we have got this bhakti. We got everything, but we haven't got this bhakti. But now bhakti we have got in our hand, so don't let it go by any means. Whatever price we have to pay, just pay it off, and don't let the bhakti go out from the hand. So I would like to stop here, and if anybody have any questions, any comments. Yes. So Pari is asking why people were throwing stones and spitting and other things on Lord Rishabhdev. Because those people who were throwing these stones and spitting on, they were conditioned soul. They were not knowing the position of the Rishabhdev. Rishabhdev was acting as an avadhuta, like a madman. He's Lord himself. But he was practicing Jada Yoga. Jada Yoga means you become like a stone. Somebody kicks you, somebody puts you up and throw here and there. He doesn't object for anything. He just remained calm because that thing doesn't bother. He was completely on the transcendental platform. Not knowing the transcendental position of Lord Rishabhdev, those people who were in the darkness, they were treating him like a madman. As Sukadeva Goswami, we can see, he was acting like a madman. He was just walking village to village. People were teasing him. Young women were teasing him. They were throwing also like that. But as soon as he entered into the assemblies of the Naimisharanya sages, everybody stood up to pay obeisances. They know his exalted position. So in many times, we have to be very careful when we are treating with the Vaishnavas. We don't know on which position he or she is. We have to be very careful to give respect to them, everybody. What does avadhuta mean? Avadhuta means not following the rules and regulations of the material world. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Okay, we end up here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.